Hello guys, welcome to my channel Tech Transform. Today we are here to discuss about pig basic scripts command. In my last video I have explained you what is pig and how to install pig on Ubuntu. Let's make our hand dirty and write some basic pig scripts. So in order to start with that, let me introduce with some of the datasets which I have downloaded for this session. So let's go inside that folder, home, work, datasets. Inside that you can see there is two files we are going to work with, at empmaster.txt and student.doc. Let's see one by one. So this is the data set. It's containing the some sample employee data. So employee ID, employee name, employee basic, salary and employee age. These are the four fields it's containing and having separated with comma. So it's a comma separated file. And we have one more file that is called student doc. Let's see how it looks. So this is also again a student data. So here what we are doing is student ID, student name, then year, then its grade, and then total marks he got. So these are the two data sets we are going to work with that and write the pig scripts in order to pull and fetch results from these files using pig. So the very first command is coming here is load. So when we want to load any file, any source file to work with, or any data set to work with, we should use load command. So load command, it's an operator used to load file data into relation bag. So relationship here in pig we call relationship or bag. Bag is nothing, just a table in SQL. So its only difference is that in bag we have the records in each row. We can have multiple columns, but in SQL in each row we have fixed columns. So that's the difference only. So here we call that the results data or table as a relationship or bag. So we will call it, we can call this records as a bag. So what we are doing here, let's open our terminal and do hands-on. So for that I'm pressing Ctrl Alt T. So this is my terminal. Let's say records. Let's call this as records. Records is equal to load. Now let's copy the path empmaster.txt. Ctrl Shift V to get the path using pig storage, and this is nothing, just the separator. So our separator is comma, so we have given here. If our separator is pipe or tab or semicolon, we should give the correct separator here, and it ends with semicolon. So every pig Latin script ends with semicolon. So let's see the basic structure is that how to load the data. It's load command, then we have to give the path, then using pig storage, and what is the separator you are going to use. Enter. Oops. Syntax error near expected. No, so we are directly running this pig command without starting our grunt pig cell. So let's start that. So I have forgotten that. So let's start that. For that you have two options to start. Let me clear out this and let's start. So in order to go inside pig grunt, either you can type pig, it will start. So pig got started. So we have two mode to enter into the pig. One is called local mode and another is called map reduce mode. So we are going to work for this development and testing purpose. We are going to work with the local mode. So this pig, if you type only pig, you will by default enter into the map reduce mode, and you can see here the execution type is map reduce. You're able to see that it's map reduce. So in order to quit that, and let's try to move inside that local mode. So to quit this, type quit semicolon, You got that? Let's enter inside pig local mode. So for that, pig hyphen x local. So we are in local mode. So you can see here execution type is local. Now we can run our command. So what we were trying to do previously, we have to load the data. So records is equal to load, then path using pig storage. You have to give the separator here, that is comma, and it's with semicolon. So let's see. So we have data inside these records that loaded. So we can run two commands after that. That is called describe. So schema is unknown for that because this is just the raw data. We haven't attached any schema to it. So that's why it is giving that schema for records unknown. So in order to print the data what is inside that, and if you want to look the data, you should type dump. You can anytime you can dump and you can get the results. Dump records. See, we got this data. So this is what we are inside file. So what we did, dump records. Now let's move to document. So here we haven't see any schema. Now let's attach let's attach a schema to this particular file. So while loading, if you want to attach a schema, after this records is equal to load, then path using pig storage, you have to give the schema name as like this. So let's say I am giving the schema name as first field I am going to treat as a EID, second field I am going to treat as a let's remove this for the timing now. First time I want to give the default data type. Okay, so this by default it will take its by default data type. So I want to set first column as EID, second column as ename, this third column is basic, and the fourth column is age. So I'm attaching a schema to this. Let's describe records now. So now you can see you have the schema now. So that's why you're able to do describe data. So it's showing employee ID is a byte array, ename as a byte array. Remember, we haven't assigned any data type to that while attaching to the schema. By default it is taking byte array, byte array, byte array. So let's change this. Let's keep some data type from our side. So EID I am not changing, ename I have given char array, basic I am not changing, I am setting it as a default, age I am setting it as an integer. So let's enter again. Now describe again, CRIB. So you can see now this employee name from by default it's changed from byte array to char array because we have specified in the schema itself. So now we are able to know how to load the file, how to set the schema, and how to change the data type of the schema. So the next command is ForEach. So the ForEach command is used to display the specified columns by using columns or column indexes. So let's say I don't want to print or dump all the columns. I want to dump only, or I want to see only two columns. For that we can use ForEach command. So ForEach command is like that. Let's say I'm going to call that table as a table or bag as a results is equal to for each records. Remember, records just our last results are there in the records. Generate. Now here we want to specify how many columns I want. Let's say I want first column, so I have to type $0 to specify the first column. Then $1, enter. Okay, let's describe results. Now see, in results we have two fields now only, EID and ename. Let's dump that. So we have we are able to see only two columns. That's what the ForEach can be used. If we want to filter some records, we can filter also. So let's say I want to filter records based upon age. So type older records is equal to filter records by age. Let's say I'm giving 30. So what we are doing here, we are filtering the records which age is greater than 30. Let's enter into that. Enter. Try to print. Dump older underscore. Okay. So here we got all those records whose age has greater than 30. So by this we can apply filter. If we want to, let's say if we want to split these dataset into two parts. Let's say I want to get the records which is greater than 30, which age is greater than 30, and I want to get the records whose age are less than 30. So we can use this split command. So we can type like that, split records into, what is that, older records. Okay, so we have to give condition here, if is greater than 30, comma, so we are splitting, so comma, then the next split is younger records if age is less than 30. So what we are doing here, we are splitting the records into two parts. Split records into, we want the records whose age are greater than 30 come into older records bag, and if age are less than 30, we want to take this result in young underscore records. So by in one line we can got these results. Okay, let's dump older underscore records. See, we got that first split results whose age were greater than 30. It's just printed now. Let's same thing for younger. See, we got this whose age has less than 30. We got that result. So that's how we implement split also. Let's I'm going to work with the next dataset which I already showed you. It's the student records whose student ID student name, year, in which year the student is studying, his grade, and the total number of marks he got. So let's load this particular dataset. Let's dump record again. See, we got this all the records from the student file. If we want to filter records based upon grade, we can type like this: filter records by grade. We can include if we want to get two records, if we want to include two grades, either grade should be A or either grade should be A plus. We want both the records, so we should apply filter like that: filter records by grade equal to A, or grade equal to A plus. So by this we will be getting both the records having grade A or A plus. Let's enter dump in order to print this result. So we got that. See, only A and A plus plus records we got. Let's say we want to group these records based upon that year. Let's say we have here 2004, 2013, 2014, 2000. We want to group these students based upon that year. We can write like that: grouped, let's call it grouped records, is equal to, what is that, group, yeah, group. We are going to use the last bag, that is filter underscore records by year. We want to group based upon the year field. Okay, let's dump again to see. UPD underscore records semicolon. So see, we got the data in grouped format. So in the year 2013, these are the students. 2 students from 2013, 2 students from 2014. So see, we are able to group data also. Let's say I want to I got this result. I don't know, I want to save this result in a file also. For that, there is a store command. So type store grouped. What are the bag names we have to use? Grouped underscore records. We want this records data to, I want to give this folder I have created for that. Pick. Okay, dump pig results. Then the folder name is dump pig result. So this one. This is the folder we want to. In this folder, I want to save this pig result. So I want to give the path. Let's copy this. Copy. Control Shift V to paste the path. And what is inside our command next? Okay, that's it. Let's end with semicolon. We got some error. Okay, I have entered 2. It should be into. Control Shift V. Okay, it's saying it's already exists, so let's delete that. I think it's going to create on its own. Let's delete that. Shift delete. Let's run again. Remember what we are trying to do? We are trying to save this group results. Let me show you once again what is inside that. Dump. Let me clear out this dump grouped underscore record. Yeah, so we want to save this result in a file path. That's what we are going to do. So this is the command. So I think it's done. Let's check. So see, it's created. Dump big result. It's created one file. Just open inside that. See, we got this. What was the output here? So these are it's used to run MapReduce job for that. So see, it's used ran a lot of MapReduce job in order to produce that output. Okay, so we got that result also. Let's open our document. What inside more that. So that's it. So we were able to load record. We were able to assign a schema. We were able to dump the records. We were able to describe the schema. We were able to filter the record. We were able to ForEach apply ForEach loop. We were able to store the records. We were able to group the records. So that's all for this video right now. So these were the basic pig scripts, the commands to this is going to pre-request for my next video, which I'm going to do something more and having some and get and taking some realistic movie lens dataset and do some analysis over that using pig. So that's all. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.